Hot dog, we're live. Hot dog. Okay, this piano's going to be loaded up in 2 days on Monday, and I needed to finish just a couple things. I wanted to put a fresh tuning on it, make sure everything was working smooth with it. Of course, we'll have to clean it out again, just get the dust off it and so forth. And this is just kind of the process we go through. I like having a piano sit around a little bit after it's done in order to kind of work out any kinks that might show up. But first of all, I need to, well, so the things, I had two professional concert pianists and professors come in and try the piano independently and record on it and see what they thought and things like that. And their reaction was very positive. There was just two things, if I recall, that they wanted, that bothered them a little bit. One bothers me a lot. This note is sticking down, if you notice. And let me show you. Bring you close up here. Right? So why is it doing that? Why is this note sticking? Did we do our job poorly? Well, no, we'll fix it. Look, I'm going to pull back on this and watch what's going to happen. Wow. So if you recall, if you followed the previous streams when we were prepping this piano, we ended up moving the bass section back just a little bit for sound. And also it fit the front of the case better. But the way it was adjusted with the sharps and so forth, it's now just barely interfering with that bottom note, okay? So we can fix that. The other thing was, if you listen really carefully, you hear that ringing? Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I forgot to turn off my AC blower. Let me turn that off and we'll hear things much better. Just run over here and snap that off. Just wanted to cool it off as much as I can. So pretty soon that'll shut off. But basically, what I found is we want to find out where that ringing comes from, right? So on a lot of Model Ds, you'll hear this F ring, and it comes from this lowest string here, okay? The problem is, it's actually damping pretty well. So we don't hear that ringing. When I play this note by itself, when I play this F by itself, we don't hear this ring very long. But when I play this note to activate that frequency, we hear it a little bit. I can't do anything about that. But there are some other frequencies that are kind of loud in this area. And I prefer to not have to mute that off, but it is something that you know, in a setting, once you get it in the space, that it might just be so prevalent that it would be a problem. Now, as for that F2, I don't have an answer for that. Look, we have the shortest damper in a different place than all the rest on the longest string of the piano. That F5 is going to ring. I don't think I can stop it. Unless someone has a fix for me, I don't. Maybe if I tilt the damper back a little bit. Maybe. Well, really, I'm tilting the back up a bit. Okay, that might actually... Okay, that noise, listen to that. Okay, ready? Keep listening. that will be helped by this, because that frequency is coming from that back length. Now this is called the rear duplex scaling, and it's a patent that Steinway started to have these back lengths ring at a given length to bolster the tone, right? And then below that we just mute it off. And a lot of pianos you'll see everything muted off, but that's meant to ring by original design. But you can see it does kind of interfere sometimes with these first 4 or 5 notes. So I'm just going to stick some, I'm going to weave some felt in there while I'm thinking about it, while we're talking about it. That's the first thing we'll do. So let me grab some. And that's not real difficult to do. But you know, when I did tilt that damper forward to where the front of it was just making a little more pressure on that F2, it did seem to help, didn't it? So it goes to show you, sometimes there is something you can do. Okay, so I just need a little baby bit of this felt, which I have over here. And I'm going to grab some sharp scissors. By the way, if you're here joining me live, welcome. Welcome, welcome. If you're not joining me live, welcome anyway. Let's see, I want to find, oh, you know what? I'm going to open the stream, so if anyone has any questions or comments live, we can kind of check it out together. Let's see here. All right, how can I get on there? Okay, turn my sound off. And there we are on the chat. There's Jeffrey Boyle. Welcome, Jeffrey. Okay, so, yeah, anyway, we'll get this going here. So I want to weave some this is a nice braided felt. It's stitched cloth. It's a wool that's braided, and it's very durable and it's kind of stretchy. I just really like it for this purpose. It's what they're using currently for Steinway for current production. So I'm just going to unroll a bit of this, and we're just going to, my favorite tool for this, and I'll bring the camera close by for you. Let me tell you, my favorite tool for this is got to be the string hook. The thing that I use to hook the strings, and I'll zoom in on here a little bit. It's just an over and under weave is all we do, and then we finish it off with a little forked tongue like that, just to make it a little evil, I guess. Okay, snake-like, serpent-like. Anyway, let me grab my, oh, look at me, I didn't get my tools. I gotta grab my tools. Be right back. Just open up the garage door here. My tools were left in the car from doing appointments, so there we go. Okay, I went ahead and got my cleaning stuff just in case I end up using it a little later. But now that I've got my tools, put them where I can reach them on my little chair here. Grab my string hook. Okay. So this, I mean, you could use anything that would work for this. I just like to use to weave this. Now I think if I just go to about, oh, you know what? I see, look, I see a note, a string. Look at this. This is interesting too. Maybe to someone. Let's see if I can find that. Let me show you here. If I can find the right string I'm looking at here. Look, this thing jumped to the side of that. I need to pull that up and over. Just gonna grab with the string hook, pull up. Yeah. There we go. Now it's just right. Okay. So someone didn't catch that. Was that me? I don't think it was me. Here's another one. Look at that. So hard to find good help these days. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, that can help. Sometimes there will be a weird buzz or something if you let that ride. So, okay, I'm gonna weave this, and I'm probably just gonna go up to this one and see if that does the trick. Because I don't want to cut off the whole everything, because it does provide a nice bolstering of the tone acoustically in a large space. You know, certainly in like a recording environment or something, it's not needed or wanted. Okay, we're just going to weave this in. So next week, I'm going to do a little bit of work at the beginning of the week, but then we're off on vacation for the rest of the week, because then we're having the we're hosting in Salt Lake it lives in Salt Lake. It's the Gina Bachauer International Piano Competition. And this is the year that they do the big competition. And so I'm kind of got to be on call pretty much all the time, every day for about 2 weeks. Long, long days. I mean, I'm not tuning that whole time. Most of the time I'm just sitting around either listening to competitors play, waiting for my time to tune during breaks, and they just want me on call just in case something goes weird, I guess. But that has never happened before, the 2 times I've done it. The competition is held about every 4 years, but then COVID, we didn't have it. They did something online instead. And here's how we cut our forked tongue right here. Anyway, so if you don't see me streaming as much next week, that's one of the reasons why. I'll be gone, taking some time off. And anyway, so I'm going to mute this, and we could just tuck it over itself. You can kind of see the pattern that works well here. It doesn't have to be, and I'm just going to leave this a little long, just in case I want to extend this in the future. I can, okay? Or if someone else wants to extend it in the future, if they find it to be a problem. And that can happen where something doesn't bother you in one space and then you get it somewhere else and it does. So anyway, let's see what we got here. So there's that felt. I'm going to put the leftovers in my bin because they're useful still. Okay. My bin o string felt. All right. So that's one of the things knocked out. Let's see if that's any better on this note. Yep, it's a lot cleaner. Those are F major chords and so forth, and so that made it seem a lot more clean. So good. That's one thing we're going to knock out here. Now I'm just going to take out the action and work on this issue here. I'm not going to move it back forward. Everything's adjusted where it is, and I like where it is for the sound and everything. I did that for a reason. But what I think I will do in this case, I can do one or both of 2 things. One is the name board felt here, this red felt, The refinishers put that on, and it's hanging out quite a bit. And I'm wondering if it's the felt more that's getting in the way rather than the note itself, you see. So I'm going to figure that out. And then from there, I can either trim that felt a little closer to the fall board here, or I can also put in a piece of felt spacer on the cheek block so that this board doesn't go as far back. Okay, so I got a couple options. Like I said, I might want to use one or both of them depending on what's needed. I'm going to try first, I think I'm just going to try trimming that cloth just a little bit, seeing if it's the cloth. But even then, it could still, the back of that black note could pop up and knock against this still, you know, in a hard blow situation. So I'm going to check this out. I'll show you where I'm looking here on this. I'm just going to do it on this board here because it's sitting here handy and it's not going to bother me any, but that felt right down there. It's sticking out maybe a bit much. Maybe a bit much. So I'm going to get a rotary cutter and see if I trim this, if we like it better. And I'm actually going to turn it around where I can, because I'm right-handed, I'll have a better approach at it from this way, I think, if I turn things around. Let's see if that's true. And if I do this, it may lead to some other adjustments I'll have to make. We'll see with the keys and the key tops and so forth. But anyway, here's where I'm shooting for. I just want to maybe taper that if I can, where I don't have to necessarily trim the whole thing, but just this edge right here. I'm just going to carefully ride along here. I'm going to come out with that. And it cut that flush, okay? I'm going to go ahead and cut it flush the whole way. This is a real clean operation. It's not hard to do, and you don't usually mess up the finish at all. There we've got that just trimmed flush, okay? Some makers will extend that out, but I don't think it's necessary either way. Now let's see if that made a difference. Boy, I got a new blade for that rotary cutter. It sure made a difference. That was like easy to do, like butter. If sharp blade makes all the difference sometimes with these things. Okay. Let's see what we have when we stick it back in. So I notice, so the key does stay down still. I'll show you that. Bring the camera over here. So the felt, it wasn't just catching on the felt, it was actually catching on the actual fall board itself. But that was hard to tell because it's like a mirror finish, but now you can see the key staying down just a little bit. Okay, so we need to put some felt on the back of this cheek block, okay? And probably not much. We don't want it to be so imbalanced that it wants to fall on the fingers, you know. So we gotta be careful with that. Now I did stick a piece there the other day, just temporary when the players were here. And here it is, this green one. Okay, so this is kind of a thinner green felt that I put there, but it's maybe even too thick for what I want. So I'm gonna try and grab just, I have some felt that is self-adhesive, kind of handy. I might use that. I might use And it's red too, so it kind of matches. And I don't think you'll see it much. But my question is, I don't know if this will be thick enough to do the job, but it's not going to hurt anything if I just stick it on there to try and then change my mind. So let me grab that. I'm just going to kind of, so the felt will go right here on the block, okay? And so that when that fall board comes in, it'll stop just a little bit shorter of where it was stopping. Just going to kind of measure that a little bit. And make a rounded corner, because the cheek block has a rounded corner. Now, I'll let you kind of see what I'm doing here. Just peel this off and stick it right on that corner if I can. There we go, like so. So now it's just, you know, it's just on there, right? And then it comes up that way. And I went a little crooked with it, but I could fix that. The adhesive's not too grabby or sticky or anything. There, now that's gonna work a little better. Okay, so let's see. We'll do the other side, same thing. Just kind of measure it here. Cut a corner off. I'm going to round this corner, like so. That should look nice. I'll just stick that corner on first and go from there. Like it was meant to be there all the time, right? So if you can see that there. Okay, now I'm going to stick it in the piano, see if we like it. It's pretty thin felt. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Anyway, I also wanted to tune this. I could have tuned it first and then started working on these things, but I kind of like to fix things that I know of first, then tune. That way when I'm tuning or when I'm playing, I'll be able to tell. There. So now, and I'm going to come from the side so you can see this really well, hopefully, if there's a gap there. Okay, so now there's, the note it's not impeded, and when I push up, it's not knocking against there. That's at the perfect angle. It's not going to hit. And the upstop rail that's in there, remember that we set the key upstop rail? It's keeping it from going high enough to knock currently. And I could make that even, that upstop rail have even, you'll be even closer there, but I think it's just fine. So now, and before we were having the red felt catch on the keys. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this red nameboard felt, when it was hanging out before, like here in the treble, when I'd move the keys, when I'd move this back and up and down, it would catch on the keys and tuck under. And if you've worked with many pianos, you've seen that before. It happens. But now that looks really nice and trim, just along there with that felt that we trimmed. And nothing's knocking and nothing's sticking, and I think I'm happy with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put things together again, because again, I want to start checking this as it is, all together and without any, making sure all the problems are resolved. Go ahead and screw in this cheek block. Where's my nice rolly chair here? If you see me start sweating, it's because I turned off the AC and it's going to get a little warm in here, but that's okay. And the tuning, yes, the tuning will change, with temperature, but the idea is to get it as stable with itself as I can so that the chances, I think I can take off this label now, so that the chances of it sounding fairly good on delivery are much, much better, right? If it leaves close to perfect. You know, there might be sections that kind of, the octaves might wander a little bit, but again, if it returns to a similar temperature as what it's seen in here, and humidity, it'll go back there, even if it got warmer in the truck or something like that. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Just trying to screw this in. I wonder if these screws were switched around. The screw's not the best, but it fits it. We might just have to deal with it. Okay. Oh my. You remember that string that we pulled that was off the hill and we pulled it back on the hill? If you've ever run into someone that got a new piano and sometimes all of a sudden, it's way, oh, I lost my camera there for a sec. My little Wi-Fi connection will come back. Anyway, and you hear something way off like that. It could be something like that happened, you know, where a string was kind of out of position on that back length and it popped off the hill or what, or, you know. I've seen that before, but hopefully it seemed like it was stable on there where we moved it. So now if we just tune it, it should be good. It's way more sharp now, right? Because we pulled it tight on the hill. I'm gonna go ahead and just knock that one string down so it's close. Okay, that'll at least get us so they're all kind of at the same pitch level when we tune it up again. And I think I'll probably be tuning, honestly, I'll probably be tuning to 12 cents high again, unless it's dropped lower. If it's closer to 8, I'll tune it at 8 or 10 or wherever it is. But let me put this felt away. I like to keep my felt nice and clean, so don't like to leave these open to the shop dust, these bins, for too long. Okay. Now we can take our string hook. There's still some work to be done on the case by our refinisher. And I think he knows when this piano's going out, so I assume he'll show up on time to fix it. I guess we'll see. Okay, so the other thing is it's missing a screw, and I forgot about this one, but this screw right here that's on the front of the cheek block that the key slip goes under, it's missing that on the other side, on the bass side. So I'm going to pull this screw and see if I can find a good match for the other side. If I can't, I'll just, make one up. This is just a, that's probably the original, but that's what it looks like. So let's see if we can find another one. Actually, that screw wasn't even in there originally. Someone else made this one up. But I do keep a lot of spare screws and things that come off of old pianos, and that helps a lot. So we'll see if we have something. got to be fat but short, apparently. And actually, it doesn't have to be short. I could drill it deeper if I need to. But it'd be nice if I found a short one. I could use this one if I had to. Back the camera up here so you can see what we're doing. So here's this one that might be a good candidate. Let's see, we will see. There's another one that's really fat. Too fat. I think I'm going to search more for one that has the right size head on it. If I find that, I can just cut it shorter, actually. Don't need to drill the hole longer. I think that's what I'll do. So I've got this long one here that's the same threading as the other side. And it's plated and the head is the same size and everything. So I might need to drill that out a bit, but I'm gonna take this long one and I'm gonna just cut it short. And I'll take you with me to do that. Okay. Let's just get our little metal chop saw out here. This is a great little cut-off saw that's really cheap, actually, that I was able to get from Harbor Freight, if you know Harbor Freight, if you have them in your location. Great store. I could spend a long time in there. But I basically want to cut this one short like the other, right? So let's do that. Just bring you in nice and close. It'll be kind of exciting, maybe. Okay, let's see if I can get the length I want and still have some threading. I can't cut it as short because it's got a big collar here. But you know what? I'm going to look for one other screw option. I'll be right back. Just in case there's something better. Because I didn't notice that collar on it was so long. Excuse me. Yeah, so I have some shorter ones, but the heads are too big on them. I don't want those. I don't want that. That will be harder to modify. So I'm just going to cut it a little bit shorter. Oh, wait. Nope, the head's too big. Okay. So I am going to use this same screw. I'm just going to allow it to be a little longer. So I'm going to do a combination of cutting this screw shorter and drilling the hole a little deeper. Drilling it deeper is not going to be too big a deal. But I need some thread in there to grab it, right? So, okay, let's straighten that out. We'll just cut that real quick. Now that'll cut its own threads nicely too, you know, so that'll be good. It'll cut I don't want to touch it, I'll burn myself here, but I might file that off, but it'll act as like a tap. It'll cut its own threads right there. So let me go get a drill bit. So little stuff like this kind of, you know, I guess you just gotta have patience to do it, right? Let me go get a drill bit. And I'm gonna want to drill 2 holes. I want to drill a bigger hole for the collar and a smaller hole for the pilot part where the screws will go in. There's my bigger one. And for my smaller, that will do nicely. So if you're going to drill 2 holes, a bigger and a smaller, and the smaller hole goes deeper, which are you going to drill first, the small hole or the big hole, and why? I'll reveal what my experience tells me to do. Give it some thought. So you're drilling a big hole that goes in for part of the way, then you're drilling a little hole. Which do you want to do first? The little hole and then drill the big hole part way, or the big hole and drill the little hole? Well, I'm chucking up the bigger hole first. I'm going to run it backwards because we've got polyester here. I don't want it to crack. Just want to get past that polyester. I just have to go deep as this collar goes right there. When I mean the collar, I mean the smooth part on the screw, right? It's bigger diameter. And then the threads, you need a pilot that's smaller so that it doesn't grab on this smooth part. Anyway, if you drill the small hole first and then try the big hole, the drill bit will often grab the sides of that small hole and suck the drill bit in really fast, and you end up drilling this bigger part deeper than you meant to, which is no good. So let's see how deep we are here. Okay, I'm just going to pull this out right here. So it's about, yeah, it's almost long enough. You know, it's long enough. Now I'm just going to make sure this small hole goes deep enough for this longer screw. And it may be that there was a longer screw in here originally. I don't know. But no, there wasn't. That's a little bit of a pilot there. Okay. Then what I'm going to do now is run this in, but I'd like to use screw wax, as I often like to do. Let's see if we got that hole deep enough. So this is beeswax that I use. It allows you to drill really well, you know, have a nice tight fit, but a smooth turning screw. Okay. I'm going to have to push that and start it grabbing into the small hole here. Let's see how far we can go with it. And this screw, its function is to grab the key slip, which is in front here. I'll show you. Let's make sure that hole is good. So this key slip has a routed out slot like this for the top of the screw to hold this in place on the front. We'll see how that distance is for it. Okay, let's see. That works. It's a little far out though. And I can screw that screw in a little more and it'll pull it up against the cheek block, which is what we want. So I'm going to go in a little deeper, almost to where it tapers out there. Okay. That's too tight. It's so tight I can't push it down. It's not enough of a gap. And be careful when you pull that off. It's easy to do a number on your finger. I just barely kind of roughed my finger up there. But so back out just a little bit. Then I'm going to go ahead and run this other one in because I think we're pretty much, we've got our fix there all completed. So let's run that one in about the same. Okay. Let's see if we're happy with that. It should go in smoothly. You know, not too rough. That one's still a little rough, but. And then it should leave a gap for our keys, where even if that key slip warps in a little bit, it's not going to interfere with the keys playing, okay? We can't have that. I'm just checking if this goes down, seats down well. It does. And it's plenty far away from the keys. There's another one that we moved out of place, right? When we moved the strings over there. Great. We're going to let's see here. Oh, we've got some so the piano looks good too. Rafferty Bradford's here. Welcome. Don Pryor, any reason why my voice is fairly faint? There shouldn't be a reason. Is it any better right now? It should be good. I kind of set things the way I should. Is my voice faint compared to the piano? I should be able to talk over the piano just fine, and you should be able to hear me. You know, unless I didn't do a setting here that I need to do here, but let me check. Let's see. No, we should be just good there. As long as I turned on my mic, I hope I turned on my mic here. Just check it. But I'm getting good sound out of it. So let me try. I will just do that. And hopefully that's good. I tried to set my levels and everything. I played around a lot of time today just trying to get better miking on the piano where it doesn't sound too distorted and it sounds a little more true to what I'm hearing. Okay, we're going to tune this and we're going to go totally by Aural today. We're just going to tune it completely aurally. That was my plan. And let's see here. Pull out some mutes. And I've got my tuning fork, but I already know it's way sharp of 440, so probably wherever it is, that's where I'm going to tune it. And then, Dawn, let me know if my voice is... Oh, you know what? I think my mic got a little buried in there. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Anyway, I hope that's better for everybody, and I'll kind of watch the comments to see if that's... The piano's not very loud either as compared to my other live stuff. Maybe turn your volume up. I set it so that you should be able to turn your volume up, but things should be balanced. So hopefully it'll be okay. Jesse Balboa made a comment there. Okay, I'm gonna just mute off the middle octave, just the temperament octave. And I can tell you now, I'm gonna wrestle this piano a little more than, say, a 20-year-old piano tuning it, right? Because these are new strings. And it's getting more stable, but the pins are tight, and it's still kind of finding its way. And if you've been in that situation, you know that it can take a little more fussing to get the strings to stay right where you want them when you're tuning. So my plan is to do just a completely aural tuning right now, and with commentary, not just blow through it, but kind of talk about what I'm hearing. And if you have any comments, you can mention it too. So here's my A. We're actually not that sharp of 440. Maybe at 442. I'd actually like it to be a little sharper. Again, I'm just using the fork. I don't have a number, so I'm not gonna, I don't know, I'm not an expert at comparing beats to hertz, but, you know, or what that means, or, you know, being able to count them as a beat per second or whatever, but I think that's where I want to tune it. I think I'm pretty close to ballpark. Okay, let's see, Don. I hear you, Don. I can maybe turn my input up a bit. I just don't want to mess things here. Just one moment, folks. All right, I'm going to increase my output a little bit here. Okay, you all let me know if this is over the top, improved, or nothing changed. I think it should be a little bit hotter now. So, but I have a real hard problem with the mics kind of catching some of the higher frequencies and making the piano sound really metallic and like it has a lot more attack than it actually does. So I didn't want to mess with that. So, but I appreciate the feedback. So anyway, this octave sounds pretty good to me now. There, I like that. So let's listen. I'm going to do a check to listen to how these two notes match up at this partial level. This check is faster than this one. That means it's slightly wide, but I'm going to go ahead and tune this F up so the beats aren't so fast, right? Oh, look, the bottom one's faster, actually. I wonder if it moved, though. It moved. This is where I had it. Just a little bit slower. Now I'm going to go a fifth up. And here's my check for a fifth. Again, this beat's so fast. I'm just going to make it a little slower here. That's where I'm listening when I do this check. It's a major 6 below the low note, right? And it should just relax just a little bit. I want that fifth to sound really pure, but it's maybe just a tiny bit too pure. Like that. Then I'll check my fourth right here. But I hear a pulse like that, right? I'm going to tune my C up a little bit so that these aren't beating so fast. Just a little bit slower than this. And it should sound busier than the fifth by about a beat a second or so. So that's good. I'm going to tune, so we go around the circle of fifths. I'm going to go from both sides a little bit. I'm going to tune the D off of the upper A here. Okay, that sounds pretty pure. Let's check it a major 6 below the D. And we're listening to this pitch up here. I got to tune these unisons. Okay, so major 6 here. It's still faster. This one's faster than this one. Listen. But it sounds really pure, which is nice. We can check this fourth. I can do a major third below here. Same note. It should speed up from here, which it does considerably, and I hear about a beat a second. Anyway, that's just setting my end point there. I'm going to go ahead and go up. I'm going to go back now. I set my A to E. I'm going to set the B down from the E, which is the next in the circle of fifths. Might be a little wide, we'll see. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tune up my G. They're not different enough. Okay, I'm going to go up to my F sharp now. And feel free to put questions in the chat as I'm tuning. See how pure these sound? We're not quite there with this. I went past it, had to go back down and... Okay, I'm gonna check it now with this D below. And then like before, I'm gonna have to... I'll kind of do this, I'll just tune these other notes up close where I'm gonna be. You know, as I go. If I don't take the time to do it, I'm not as accurate on my temperament. It's harder for me to discern subtle differences in beat speeds when they're faster. There, this one's faster. And it relaxes just a little bit. Sounds really pure. Now, I usually like to check at this point my A to F sharp as a major sixth. If you've tuned temperaments a lot, then you'll know like, oh, is that way too fast? Is it way too slow for where that needs to be? Because if it is, that means I kind of went overboard on how pure I made my fifths and so forth, or I went overboard the other way and made it. So, but I think that's good. So now I'm going to go down to C sharp. So I went up a fifth, now I'm going to go down from F sharp to C sharp. Okay, Nguyen Toy Sun is asking me if what method I'm using to tune the piano. I mean, I'm just using an Aural method, right? But as far as the order I'm going, this is like the Steinway temperament, A to A. And basically you tune off of A4, and then we're going around the circle of fifths. So up a fifth, down a fourth, up a fifth, down a fourth, and so on. Then you have to go 2/4 down to stay within that octave. Then up a fifth, down a fourth, up a fifth, down a fourth, up a fifth. And you can check with, we have all the checks that we have with like major thirds and sixths and the way they interplay with each other along the way. Okay, where was I? C sharp. I like this. This should be slower. It's up here where it's beating, but I don't like to focus too much on where. I like to try to soak in just how it feels, the beating to me. Might be a little too busy. There, let's go with that. Now I'm going to go up a fifth to G sharp. It should sound really pure, but not be totally pure. Let's check it. We're going to go down a major sixth, Oh, that's beating way too fast. I need to pull up this E. That's slow enough where I can, perceive it. Might be too pure a little bit. I just like to think of a diminuendo a little bit, just a little subtle diminuendo. Okay, now I'm going to drop down a fourth. Oh, I can check this. Right now they kind of sound the same, so something's probably off. I'll go up a little more on this G sharp. There. Now they're a little different anyway. That's probably closer. Okay, this E flat's way off. There. Now I'm going to go down another fourth to B flat. I like to focus a lot on where, if you're tuning a fourth, that the interval itself is the check. That's the main, most important check, is the interval itself. If you're tuning an octave, that's the check. A fifth, it should sound a certain way. And that's what'll speed you up, tuning by ear in the end. So this beat's a little slower, this beat's faster. Now I'm going to go up a fifth to F and tune F off of B flat. Does that sound like a good fifth? No. Closer, but it's not pure enough of a fifth. After I tune that F, I like to play this major third. But that should be really fast. I'm not sure if it's quite fast enough. This fifth might be too pure. Now I'm going to do the check. I'm going to tune this D flat up. It's nice to be able to slow down and just talk it through, like. We're listening up here. Yeah, it relaxes just a little bit. And this is plenty fast and wide, I think. And then I can check these. These are contiguous thirds, major thirds stacked. It's that augmented triad sound. And I'm listening. Oh. Okay, so. Yeah, it should slow down. Some people start the temperament with those contiguous thirds, and to me it's a headache. I did it a long time, tried it, drank the Kool-Aid. I know why they do it, because it can really pinpoint like one or another of these notes, even if you don't get it right exactly. But I went around the circle of fifths almost all the way, and I nailed the contiguous thirds. So anyway, so now we're going to tune down to C from F. That fourth beats wildly, right? I get it where I think it's close to right, or right. Now I have a lot more checks available. I can do my fourth check, which is down here. And this should be slower than the top one. And it is. Let me go ahead and tune the A flat though. Yep, this is slower, then it speeds up. Now I have another check here before I'm happy with this C. I can check. Like this is way slower than this. So something's wrong, you know? And this sounds a little too slow to me in general. I can check if my E moved, but that fifth sounds pretty good. That fourth, if anything, is a little too wide already. So I can't lower my C to make that better. I think I need to lower my F. I think this is too pure of a fifth. This is too fast. Or maybe it's not fast enough. And this is too fast, so I'm going to lower my F. Yeah, this fifth isn't narrow enough. And just always assume that it moved, right? It's not like you put it in the wrong place. No. It moved. Too much. So maybe I didn't nail my contiguous thirds, but I was close. Now this fourth, sounds better. And those aren't so different as they were before. We haven't tuned the, oh, we did tune the D. I think the B flat's too sharp. But anyway, I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to go up to G. tune this one up. That'll help us. I'm not sure why my phone keeps turning off on this chat, but oh, and I'm not even live anymore. What's the deal here? I want to go live, please. There, now I'm live. Okay. They're too similar. They're not, it's too pure. There, now they're not too pure. But look at it, this fourth now is way too wide. And this fifth is a little too pure, but not that much too pure. Let's check. I'm going to bring the D up a little bit. Too much. My A's haven't moved. They're still sounding good. Okay. I'm happy with that fifth now, but let's check to G. Still way too wide, right? So we ended up with that comma that happens at the end of the circle of fifths. But don't like discourage. Just take heart. Let's work backwards. So the D is where we want. We're going to make the G where we want. And I probably just didn't make the fourths wide enough. So I'm just working backwards so they sound the way they should. I'm going to go ahead and move this F sharp up a little bit so it slows the beats down. And please, if you're wondering like, what the heck's he doing? Please ask a question in the chat. I'm watching it right here. Okay, look, to explain, so when I tuned at first, I started going around the circle of fifths this way. E, then down to B, up to F sharp, That one's not right, we need to fix that later, but down to C sharp, up to G sharp, down to E flat, down to B flat, F, C, G. Then I hit this D, then I'm back to A, right? So going in reverse order, you could go down from this A, up to G, then you have to jump up another, what you have to do to keep that within an octave is at some point you have to do 2/4. You can't keep going 5th, 4th, 5th, 4th, 5th, 4th. You have to go up here. Now we're back. So now I'm running it the backwards way, right? Okay, now I'm going to go from F sharp down to B. I like the speed of this 6. That sounds more correct to me. The other time it did sound too fast. But anyway. This one's faster than this one. So you don't really hear much of a perceptible beat there. It just kind of turns over. Okay, down to C sharp. Oh, I mean, sorry, we're going the other way. Up to E. I way overshot again. So what's happening is I'm trying to make my 5th too pure and so forth. And so I need to kind of temper those a little more in order to make this work out, right? Like kind of more like that. Now I'm going to go around the other way again. Hammond Brass asks me if I have a favorite or special method for doing pitch raises and whether or not I've done it with piano scope. There was one that I wasn't filming. I did it with piano scope once. I mean, it was fine. If it's a big pitch raise, if it's an old piano, well, my favorite way is with the Varituner at this point, with what I've done so far, because it just has a real rough dial, and I just start going, and it'll kind of calculate a percentage, and it's quick to get started and finish. But I mean, using any tuning device for a pitch raise is fine for me. You know, maybe about equal one is another at this point, but I haven't messed with piano scope that much. So. So hopefully you're seeing right now, this is what I was saying where I like the interval is the check. The fifth and the fourth are the check. And I keep going around till they sound the way they ought to. And the faster I go around, you know, without talking in the middle, it's easier to pick up on, oh, that one's different than this one. I need to tweak it a little more pure or a little less pure. Paul B, that's funny. So anyway, I'm realizing I do rely a lot on kind of memorizing a little bit the relative speeds of all the different intervals within that octave and kind of how they should sound. So I don't have to necessarily say, oh, is this fifth, you know, this way or that way. I just keep going around until it sounds right a little bit. And now we're getting really close. The G was too sharp. And you can hear this fourth is too wide, too busy. F sharp's too sharp. Because it got too fast when I did these major thirds. Now they're starting to even out. This one's like barely perceivable. It's just a warble, right? So that's pretty even, but how do the fifths and fourths sound? Let's listen to the fifths. I didn't like this one. So I have to decide whether to move the C or the G, right? Because it's too narrow. So I'm going to try and listen to these thirds. Gosh, that progression sounds really smooth. It decelerates just a little bit, right, as you go down. I honestly don't know on this one. I think what it is this D is too pure, this fifth is too pure a little bit. There's a big jump right there. So I think I move this D up, and then if I move the D up, then I have to move the G up a little bit to maintain that fifth, and that will make this fifth more pure. That's what needs to happen, because this fifth is too pure. This fifth is not pure enough. And that fourth sounds right. So I'm going to move the D up. And if I check this, I'll probably have to move that B flat too. It's probably wrong too. But anyway, I'm just going to move the D up a little bit. There, now let's try this fifth. So this fourth, I mean, I'm gonna. The D didn't stay. Okay, now let's listen to this D to G. Now it's too pure. These also slow down a little bit as you go down. I just don't like the sound of this. Maybe I'm getting some bleed through a little bit from the unisons, but I don't think so. Like everything else checks out. I'm going to move this E down a little bit. Then I'm going to move the C down. There. I kind of listen how they roll. This one was weird. This fourth sounds too pure to me. So I'm going to bring the C sharp up. There, now listen to the fifths. Now the fourths. These two sounded a little wild. So I'm going to bring the B flat up a little bit. And this beat is too fast for that. There, that sounds good, and this sounds good. There, it's a better progression. So now I'm going to listen to the major sixth descending, and I'm going to listen for the beats to progress smoothly down. I think that the G sharp just slipped on me a little bit. We're getting really close. Like probably within a cent by now, but still just want to make improvements. There, I like that better. Major thirds. B needs to go up a tiny bit because this fifth sounds too pure and that sounds too wild, and when I go like this, maybe not. At this point, if I was tuning a piano, you know, and needed to make time, I'd be like, that's plenty good, you know. And I don't allot this much time to mess with the temperament, but we're talking through it slow. I'm just playing this for your benefit to hear it. Okay, I'm gonna keep tuning. That's good. Now I'm just gonna tune down to octaves, and I'm gonna make them sound like a really good octave, like really in tune. And the octave is the check for the octave. If I want to, I can play the fifth, make sure it sounds really pure, and I can play the fourth, make sure it's not beating too fast or that it doesn't sound too pure. But that's it. If the octave sounds really, really good, everything else will work out. See, it sounds really clean, right? And as you're going out with the octaves, you might tend to notice like, between the octave, that fifth is a little more busy than the others were. So you might say, that F sharp's probably in the temperament, like it's probably a little too sharp or something, you know. And you could choose to change it, and it may not be sharp, it just may be, but sometimes you'll notice, and by going through this whole process, you'll start to pick out like, oh, in the temperament that's maybe off, because it doesn't work out with the octave in the fourth and the fifth. But if you're this close, it'll work out. You know I'm being more picky because you're here too, right? Can't help. So I tune the octave until it sounds really nice and enjoyable to play, like just right, you know? I don't think about, oh, this partial's doing this and that. I can check it if I want. But I don't need that to tell me if I move it a little bit flat, it sounds worse to me, and if I move it a little bit sharp, it sounds worse to me. I just zero it in, you know, right where it sounds the best. And it'll work out. It can be to your advantage to get some flow going with the tuning. For me, it's a lot harder to tune stopping and thinking about it too much. Just say, that sounds bad. Make it better. Okay, bad the other way. Be like, okay, I don't think I can improve that. Now, if you're learning how to tune and someone's taught you how to check like a 6/3 octave, which is this coincident partial up here, and you play that to listen to it, all that tells me is that this is a quite wide 6/3 octave. But I can't go then to another piano and say, okay, I'm going to make all the 6/3 octaves in this range sound like that and have it work out. It won't work out. The octave won't sound good. So it's best to flip that around and say, I'm going to make the octave sound good. You can't use the 6/3 check to tune a better octave. You have to use the octave to tune a better octave. Now, if your temperament's really good, honestly, I would recommend just using the machine for the temperament. I just switch back and forth. I try and do it a lot by ear so that I'm not totally up a creek and stressing or sweating about how long it takes if I haven't done it in a while. And sometimes I'll just get on that kick. I'll just be like, I don't want to pull out a machine or any software today, you know. But what was I saying with that? There was a really good point to that, and I totally just, sorry. What was I saying with that? Oh, if your temperament's really good, you can sometimes, you know, you can say, well, I think that's the best octave I can get, and you can kind of play with it left and right. And sometimes it won't sound good in any position you put it in. Sometimes then the fifth and the fourth can help you make a better choice, compromise choice, but that's it. Because when you play the octave, listen, I was thinking about this the other day. Look, in playing this single octave, you're hearing the 2-1, the 4-1, the 6-3, and so on and so forth, 10-5, whatever. You're hearing all those partials interact with each other just by playing the single octave. When you're doing this, you're only hearing one of those. Or if I go like this, it only tells me one story, one part of the story. This tells me more of the story just playing that octave. Well, what am I doing here? Does it sound in tune? Yes, it sounds in tune. I mean, how much more fussy do you want to get? I used to think the more checks that I learn, the better Aural tuner I'll be, and now I realize, I mean, maybe it's nice to have some, especially if you have to do a temperament, but as far as stretching the piano out, just listen if it sounds in tune and tune the octaves like you would a unison, you know, and I think you do better that way. Like you can hear it zero in as I'm playing around with the pitch. Now the fifth says I'm a little busy and the fourth says I'm a little pure. So I can bump it a little bit flat. Be like, oh yeah, that does sound better. Then move on. And you don't have to kill yourself on one pass. Look, that octave, double octave sounds really clean. Oh, that doesn't sound good. I was like, why does that one not? It's because we haven't tuned this B yet. But that one's good. We'll get there. And don't let the bass intimidate you, the low bass. Just say to yourself, just picture like a string bass tuning up octave with the cello. Or just do it, just say, I'm gonna hear this. Don't let the strings that haven't been tuned yet fool you. You know, like maybe steady your mute once in a while. Or play softer. Make sure you're not getting fooled. That's a nice double octave. So I can't even hear what. There, now I can hear it. The 17th, that's the 17th, right? Or is it the 19th? 19th. So I like that 19th better than this 12th. But anyway, I don't want to, I'm telling, on the one hand, I'm saying, oh, just think about it simply. But I'm just kind of making observations like, you know, it all sounds good to me. Anyway. Again, I'm getting fooled by the where the mute was. Kind of second guessing myself. just allow yourself a second listen after you're going to tune through this to play, to expose it if it was really bad or something. So you practice listening through the unisons that haven't been tuned yet if they're bleeding a little bit. Oh, Chris Hammond Brass, if you're still there, you asked me if I had a favorite. One of my reasons for my favorite pitch ray software right now is just because it's on my phone, and I have an Android phone. I don't have an iPhone, so if I want to use Pianoscope right now, I have to take my iPad with me, which I'm not as likely to do. Especially I'm letting some of the newer guys who are learning how to tune here use Pianoscope, because I find it's a real advantage to the people just starting out. But I think if I had it on my phone, a little more convenient, I would play around with it a little bit more with the pitch races. If anyone out there is going to buy Pianoscope, by the way, the software for tuning, it's really, I highly recommend it. You can get, if you do a month subscription, if that's the way you're going to pay for it. And the thing about that is, my understanding is, say you pay month to month, I believe that that you can then upgrade to the one-time price prorated based on what you've already paid. So, but anyway, if you get the subscription, you get 10% off of that using a code that the developer gave me. It's Salt Lake Piano, just all caps, no spaces. Salt Lake Piano. When you go to in your in-app purchases, or I believe that's where you do it. If you're going to buy it outright, you can use a link that we put in the previous streams, and if you're interested, I can just tell me in the chat. I can put that link up again. You don't get a discount if you're buying it outright, just because the way Apple's set up right now, but it does go to benefit this channel. If you're going to buy it anyway, hey, you might as well, you know, help me out as well, right? So it doesn't cost you any more. So other checks that I might do like that, I'll just listen to intervals, just musical intervals, and just say to myself, do they sound good? And if not, why? If you hear anything that's kind of wandered, just fix it. And check the octaves that go down from that to make sure they're still right. Okay, I tuned down. Now I'm just gonna tune unisons in my temperament strip area. I'm boring everyone with my tuning. I am curious what pitch level I ended at to tune this to today. I'm not exactly sure. My guess is I'm around like 442 or 10 cents sharp maybe. Maybe a little sharper than 442. So if anyone has a device right now, pull it out and check my pitch when I get to the A. Sometimes to develop the confidence to tune aurally, I just won't touch anything, you know, as far as electronically. Just to tell myself that it can be done, it's okay, you don't have to rely on that. Almost to A. You know, I'm going way slower and kind of being more thorough, or slower anyway, than if you weren't here on a pre-delivery tuning. Because it's gonna move around a little bit. But I just thought this was a good opportunity to show some things and field any questions that anyone had about tuning the aurally, or any observations, or even suggestions or tricks. Okay, now I haven't tuned this B flat yet. Oh, here's the A. That's 2 unisons of it anyway. What pitch level are we at? If anyone has an app. I'll go ahead and move on. But so I'm going to tune, before I pull my strip mute, I'm going to tune this the B flat and the C. That loud click is the tightness of the tuning pins in this new block. And I actually had to rotate the pin on that one. Get my unisons here. Did anyone catch the pitch level of the A? If not, I'll look it up here. Once I finish this section here. Look, that one's pretty close, but look, the unisons down here need cleaning up. Now, just because I don't hear any audible beat, like really obvious beat, you know, like some little bit of phasing, right, slow ones, that doesn't mean that it's a pure octave. It doesn't mean that it's a pure 2-1. Look, I'm going to do the 4-2 test. It's quite wide at the 4-2 level. And when I say quite wide, I mean like a beat, maybe a second or so. And then I can do the 2-1. It's this equally wide as a 2-1. But to us, it sounds more pure. All right, nobody wanted to play my games and pull out your device for the pitch level of the A, so I'm going to check it out. I just have Varituner on my phone, so I'll use that. It'll give me an A here. So we're right at 442, which is where I was aiming. I was just second guessing myself because the piano was a lot flatter than that when I came to it. And if you remember, last time I tuned this piano, I was tuning it about 15 cents, 12 cents high, so it has dropped. The temperature, the weather has gotten a lot warmer, so the temperature in the shop in general is warmer, so that accounts for some of it. But the rest is just the string stretching. And when I got down to the low, low bass, I noticed I didn't have to pull them up as much. They hadn't dropped as much. They're starting to become more stable. And this area becomes, you know, where it changes the most. But so we're right, measuring them all three together, it reads right at 442, but a little bit sharper than that individually, right? So about a half a cent sharper to a cent sharper than that individually. Anyway, I was just curious. Okay, let's go back to the old YouTube chat. All quiet on the chat tonight. If you weren't here before, I was talking about my philosophy about. So there's all these checks, right, that we can set to set up a beat pattern, or faster beat patterns anyway. You know, there's also slow checks. I think the most effective thing if you're tuning aurally is to make the interval that you're tuning that sounds kind of pure, but kind of off as well. We'll see. I'm going to pull it a little sharper. I don't know, is that where we started from? I don't think so. It sounds a little different to me. It sounds sweet instead of like just flat. Uh-oh, we got our kitty cat of death. That's just because I'm connecting to the camera via Wi-Fi, so it's not as stable, but our battery's good on there, so keep going. And I was saying, just tune these octaves so they sound like in tune, like really nicely, perfectly in tune. If I'm having trouble on a particular piano because of its sound, finding that sweet spot of where the octave should sound, as I go up the treble, what I might do is intentionally pull it sharper till I can really hear it, you know, sharp, definitely beating, and then settle it down. And then going down to the bass, do the opposite so that I'm not fooled, and maybe to help me to find the optimal, that pure sound, you know? Like, that definitely doesn't sound good. That sounds worse. I pulled it up sharp, so I'm not, okay, I was sharp. Like tune it where no one can question if they hear a song that it's in tune, you know what I mean? And you don't have to worry that you're off. I hope I don't get the gentleman's name wrong, but I think it's David Anderson. I watched a tuning class where he kind of just tuned a whole piano, and boy, he stressed over and over, you just got to be positive about it and not doubt yourself and just say, I can do this. And I really, I mean, since I played around since then, I thought, oh yeah, he's right, he's right. Real, he was such a positive personality. Look, can anyone argue that that's out of tune? Anyway, I like to play, like in the middle of my tuning, I like to make like musical explorations of whether or not it's sounding good and feeling good to play. I've come to the conclusion, I think, that when it's really nicely in tune, it just feels so good to play. It's so exciting to play. People say, wow, this is a new piano. This is a great piano. That's even if the voicing's not perfect, you know? Here's another thing. If you're practicing aurally, I feel like you do have to put on the mentality of, I don't, you know, when you're actually just doing it, when you're going for it, I don't care what the machine says. I don't care what any machine says. It sounds good to me. It's right. You know, you have to put on that mentality. And then you listen. I mean, you listen carefully and you try and set it where it's right. Now up here, I'm not having to pull them up near as much as the middle. So these strings stabilized faster too than the middle. I find that initially when you string a piano, the bass strings just drop like crazy. The high treble will get stable a little faster. and then the rest will kind of get as stable as it can. And then the bass strings will stabilize, and they'll be way more stable than anything else, basically. And the treble, and then it's just kind of the middle that's moving up and down mostly with the weather. Okay, that sounds bad right here. And you're not sure how or which way, just go up. It sounds better. I'm gonna go even further. Okay, now it sounds bad again to the sharp side. Now I can narrow it down. I feel like there's some miss. There's that F. It's still ringing. You can hear that residual. Even, you know, when I hit the note, it stops. But that doesn't mean that I can fix that damper and make it better. As I've been learning how to tune, as I go up in the treble, I have experienced where if it gets flat, I'm talking maybe an octave above here even, but if it's flat, or sometimes it'll sound correct to me, but it might be flat a little bit. Okay, so playing them separately can help you not be fooled that way. So just a little tip. And don't get down on yourself if you have to go back and tweak something a little differently. Don't say, oh, I knew it, I was wrong, of course I can't tune well. Remember, it moved, okay? No, of course there's times where you might set it too flat or too sharp or whatever, but you catch it on the second round, you're fine. not totally happy here yet. If the pin gets jumpy on me like that, I'll just do that slow pull like you saw me do. I think I like this better. Yeah, I think I like that better. Yeah. I think one of the good ways to start tuning this area, the octaves, is to think about it like making the top one disappear into the bottom tone. Just wrestling with this newly strung piano here. Okay, I could tell when I pulled that up, it went way sharp, right? Then I went a little bit flat of it. Now it's really close. Now it just totally disappears. The top one disappears and the bottom. And when I play them separate, the top one doesn't sound flat to me compared to the bottom one. Okay, I don't know where this is, but I know it doesn't sound in tune, right? Pull up. Okay, I'm way up now. That's really close. It's right on. tuning unisons by ear and practicing that is really the foundation for all this. I also found tuning harpsichords by ear really helpful. Okay, like it sounds a little bit close, right? But when I play them separate, it sounds flat on the top. I'm gonna pull up a little bit. It was just a tiny bit. Now the unison up here, down here is messed up. Just one of them. Now let's mute this again. There it is. E. Again, pulling it sharp is a safe way to go. I don't mean safe as far as not breaking strings, I just mean safe as ending up where you want to with the pitch. Hey, the chat's been a little too quiet tonight. Feel free to jump in here, you know. Let's see. Oh, my phone's gonna die. Let me plug that in. Let's see. I'll just plug it into the fast charger here. I still want to hold it up right as I say, "Oh, hey, you should chat more," and then I move my phone. But I'm gonna keep watching it here. I'm gonna stick a power cord there. So I used to ask people, what are your checks for tuning way up in the high treble? You know, I always wanted to find people who really tuned by ear, just by ear, you know, that did it in practice for real all the time in concert settings. And I just wanted to see, like, okay, what do you do to do it? And I never really had anyone give me a total clear answer. But again, the octave is the check for these. It's the most useful check anyway, I think. Sometimes you run into some weird stuff up here that you think that shouldn't sound consonant with the lower note, but it does. Like that sounds like it's too sharp by itself, but then together with the note below it, it sounded the most pure to me, so. for now I'm going with it. Then I'll play some arpeggios or something. Or if your skill level is not such that you can play arpeggios, just play things spread apart and then say, oh, well, that sounds too sharp to me or whatever. Like that one sounded too sharp to me. Okay, let's see what we have here. Thanks, Paul. I think if you take just stop when it sounds good to you. You know, double octaves, single octaves. Playing them separate, one and then the other. So this sounds a little flat to me on the top. I could be wrong. I'll play things spread apart. Make sure I can live with that, you know? And I can live with that one. It sounds nice. There. Oh, now it broke apart. Something moved. It just should sound crystal clear, you know? If anything sounds flat to you or off, fix it. This unison, this upper A, that sounded flat to me going from. But first I'm going to fix the unisons here. Then I'm going to check it. Okay, now when I uncover this, when I move to uncover the middle unison, I can see if I moved it much. I sure did. Sounds better. Now, did it move in the course of like pounding the notes or tuning or just temperature or whatever? Or did I tune it bad? I don't know, but I'm going to keep checking the octave up. Didn't move this one as much. Now, you don't have to be like master pianist to check check everything. I don't like something about this. It just doesn't sound perfect. So I'm going to listen. This might be flat. I'm going to check by pulling it up. That sounds a little sweeter to me, a little higher. Okay, the unison say. I did move it up. I can live with that. This one sounds bad now. I'm okay, I'm not crying over it. I'm gonna fix it. I think it's flat. See if I moved it. I did. Do I just have a better perspective after playing things spread out? Or what? I don't know, but there, that's beautiful. I'm gonna keep checking up because first I gotta fix this unison. The last one of that note. And it's not going to take me that long, and I'm talking to you. I'm going way slow because I'm talking through it as I go. You know, once you get in this rhythm, you're just like, oh, I'm going to fix this, fix this. Oh, I love that, actually. I did love it. Then I think the unisons got out. I don't quite love it as much, so I'm going to retune the first unison. I can love that. Just make it like addicting to play that harmony or that. This one I pulled up a little bit. You know, maybe 3 or 4 cents or less. I'm having trouble with this G. Notice I return back to the middle of the piano. For me, it helps me, how does it sound from here? Let's try this. Got to tune all the unisons to kind of see for sure. The F moved a little bit, but I'm going to keep going. I'll go back to it if it bugs me enough. It's still way better than it was. So this kind of zone up here is just a little flatter than the rest. Needed touch up. I do like that. Okay, C. Let's see, where am I happy with? I think right there. The F, I'm going to fix again. Just having a hard time getting everything to lock in on the F. It's this unison. So, this B flat sounded like out. Here's something, a phenomenon, maybe someone can figure out what's going on. If I press the pedal while I'm tuning, you'll hear me do that sometimes. I'm usually going to tune that octave a little more stretched than if I don't use the pedal. So I'm not sure what's at play there, but just something I've observed. So I like it with the pedal, but not without. I'm going to go down an octave and check this again. Again, if you watch my How to Tune a Piano Without a Machine or by ear, whatever it's called, this goes so fast when you're not putting it under a microscope and talking about it. Still not happy with that F. It's so squirrely up here. It's just move. I'm kind of hearing. I'm just trying to decide, oh, is that something that's wrong that I can do something about, or not? That just a little bit of action noise there, but I think it's good. I love this piece. This helps me check the unisons in the middle. And the octaves. So I also like some melodic passages that go in this that might reveal anything that's out, you know. Like this sounded a little flat to me. See if I moved it at all. I did. Now, yeah, that sounds better now. G sounded bad to me. Didn't move it much. Maybe a cent or less. I know I'm getting a little but I'm doing this live, you know, for the world. It's got to be good, right? It doesn't hurt anything to check if it's flat or whatever. Whoops. This one's... If you keep working with the piano, it'll get more and more stable. You won't have to fuss with it so much. And it'll return to that, to its best sound a lot easier. This is that G I never felt comfortable with. It's sharp, actually. Okay, I was doing. That one doesn't quite land where I need it to. The first two unisons were fine, but the last one was flat. It's just really sweet when it's right, you know. I just like the way the harmonies play it with. So when I come back from vacation around the 17th, I think, the Gina Bachauer International Competition starts here in Salt Lake City. I'll be tuning for that all the time and doing tunings throughout the day. If you want, I think they live stream the whole thing. They don't stop it when I'm tuning on stage, so you'll be able to see me put into practice, you know, the tuning. But after the first day, the pianos will be a lot more stable because they'll be pounded on in that environment and then tuned again. And so, but this one's starting to sound really nice, if I say so myself, right? I guess you have to be the judge of that. When it brings out emotion as I play it, back to this. See, it gets more stable after a while. Checking how these were staying. I was gonna say, see, look, now that F is staying, and it's not. I'll just put it back. It's like a dog that comes out of stay. Just put him back. Did you hear that? Something weird there, huh? Flat. You'll find stuff like that, I guess. So there's something I missed. That's a bit sharp there. Just before the point where you think you're going to go crazy, that's probably a good time to stop. I wasn't gonna go crazy. That's right now. That's. And there's a point where you have to pretend that it's all perfect and it hasn't moved at all. And that's whether you tune with machine or by ear. Now, believe it or not, I haven't. The voicing on this piano has been very stable since we set it. Like, I don't feel any need to change the voicing or even just even out a couple things. I think it's fine. Okay, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it. I'm hungry. Done for sure. Done for sure. So believe it or not, I'm actually gonna work some more tonight. But if anybody's up at their hour, I am gonna take a dinner break and then I'm gonna work on some other stuff. I'm gonna be on the back action for that Kanabi and maybe some other things. We'll see before we call it a night. But anyway, thanks for watching this exploration. And if you have any further questions, please put them in the comments so we can kind of clarify or get to things. And we'll catch you on the next stream. Thanks.